Good rainy morning from day 2 on the Foothills Trail, everybody. It is a little after 6 a.m. and I knew that this big rain cell was blowing in, so I just let myself sleep in a little bit late this morning. And sure enough, here it is. It's currently raining. It is lightning all around me. My sister sent me a text last night that there's a dangerous storm with hail and stuff moving through, possible tornadoes. So I think I'm just going to hunker in my tent and have some coffee and some breakfast in here and try to let that blow over before I hike out of here, but we'll see. Rolling out my plantar fascia first thing in the morning. So glad I put my coffee and my breakfast right on top of my food bag this morning, so I can just grab what's on the top and get ready to cook in this rainstorm. Cooking in my vestibule this morning. Can you hear the rain? It's crazy out there. I got my breakfast steeping, and next up is mocha coffee. Okay, still sitting here in the tent with the rain, eating breakfast and drinking coffee, but look what I just noticed, everybody. Look, there's a little loop here and another one on this side, so I can hang a clothesline in my tent. I didn't even know I could do that. Yay! It's getting real. It's 8:21. Definitely don't want to be hiking in this. I'm trying to wait for it to pass. Hopefully by 9 o'clock it'll be all moved through. If not, I'm going to have to get out there and walk. Hello, everybody. I'm just checking in. It's 8:43. I am pretty much packed up in my tent. The only thing I need to do really is break my tent down. But every time the rain lightens up like it is now, about 3 minutes later, it starts pouring and lightning and thunder, and it's really, really bad. Check this out. Okay, I set up last night. I knew it was going to rain last night and this morning, so I set up on a slightly slant. And if I had set up totally in the flat, look at all the standing water that would have been underneath my tent. Whereas right now, on this side, the water is pretty much, it's not standing. So I'm kind of at a slant this way a little bit. And I did that on purpose because I did not want to lay in that during the rain. All right, everybody, it is 9:32. There's my little dry spot. I am all packed up and ready to go. But before I leave camp, I just wanted to show you this. So these are the flattest spots in this particular campsite. And look at all the standing water. So I'm really glad that I didn't tent right there, because I would have been in a waterbed. So by going over here and having a slightly slanty spot, I was pretty dry. All right, time to go. Gonna try to do about 7.5 miles today to Burrell's Ford, so let's get trucking. Okay, I just climbed about 300 feet after leaving camp in the first mile. The climbs on this trail are, so far, from Oconee to where I am now, have been gentle and relentless, but they've been good. So now, here's what the trail looks like. It's really pretty. Everything's budding and starting to bloom, so hopefully I'll continue to have good views. I have my hike on hat on because that's a good message to have after that torrential rain this morning. So I'm just gonna keep on moving. I'll show you the trail. There are several of these. I've seen many of them. Really big loblolly pines. Man, are they massive. I know it's hard to tell on camera, but they are huge. And the first time I saw these was on the Pine Mountain Trail in South Georgia. So it's really cool to see them here on the Foothills Trail too. Loblolly Pine. Okay, time for second breakfast. I'm about an hour in. Let's see. Climb 358 feet. I've gone 1.61 miles. I can see and hear the Chattooga River below me. I'm heading down that way, but it is just raging this morning from all the rain. Let's take a closer look. Getting closer. Beautiful. All right, yes, this is Simsfield campsite, about 2.5 past Licklog. So if you're looking to do about a 10.5 mile day, then probably stay here for your first night. And I'm going about 5 miles ahead of this, but man, this is pretty, y'all. If I were to do this trail again, I'd probably try to push here for my first night. It's just lovely, right by the river. Fire ring, a couple logs to sit on, lots of flat spots to tent here. Oh, and some firewood. I love hikers. And a beautiful view of the river. Nice. It's really hard to make any progress on this part of the trail next to the Chattooga River. It's so beautiful. I'm hiking upstream, and as I'm hiking through the rhododendron, there's all these cascades and little waterfalls, and you can see them through the mountain laurel, but the camera's not really going to pick them up. But it's just beautiful. It's so interesting how a day can start out so yucky with such a huge torrential rainstorm and end up being such a beautiful day. Okay, 2 hours in, time for another snack. I have done 533 feet of climb, gone about 3 miles, and I'm right down here at the beautiful Chattooga River. Hello, I am at mile 4.45 for the day. I just finished a particularly brutal climb up from the Chattooga River. Now I'm going back down to the Chattooga River. But I'm pretty proud of myself because I was able to pretty accurately guesstimate how much water I would need for this bit to get over those 2 climbs, and I did a good job with that. But I do need water now. So I was looking at Far Out, formerly known as Gut Hook, and it says in 0.9 miles ahead of me there is a picnic spot by the Chattooga River, and it happens to be 12:30, so I think I'm gonna go there and get some water, have some lunch, and take a pack off sit down break. I have been hiking for about 3 hours now, so that sounds good. I'll check in with you then. Wow. This is a huge rock formation, and I'm walking by right now. Heading down to the Chattooga River. You never tell how steep stuff is on camera. Let's see. That is straight up. Okay, I just did 2 straight up rock scrambles, followed by a big flight of stairs. So that was crazy. I see you, Foothills Trail. I believe this is Carolina Sweetbush, everybody. Okay, according to Far Out, I'm at the picnic spot, which is down there. I was like, how do I get there? Look at all this. And then there's this tiny little trail here. So I guess that's how I'm gonna go down. The river is raging. So let's go down and have some lunch and take a break. Wow. I'm here on the beach. Gonna get some water. I'm gonna sit up there and enjoy my lunch and filter some water. This water is intense. All right, I hate to admit it, but I do like the camp chair. Thank you, Lily Pad. It's fun. You don't have to have it, certainly. I could have saved a pound and left it at home, but I've been using it since I'm carrying it. All right, today's lunch is Uncrustables and some sweet chili something vegan flavored Doritos. And I got my water. So I'm gonna filter that and camel up, and then I'll carry on to the campsite. As I was sitting up here filtering my water, I spotted this banana that somebody left there. So I will go down there and pick it up and pack it out for that person. I think there's trash cans at Burrell's Ford in about 3 miles, so I'll be able to dump it there. But I'm leaving this break heavier than when I came in. I'm full up on water, and I'm packing out a banana for someone else. It's been a beautiful break. Been enjoying the river. And now it is time to hit the road. All right, I got it. Going in the garbage bag. Okay, looks like I have come 13.6 miles from Oconee, and I need to turn left here to continue on the Foothills Trail and go towards Burrell's Ford. If I went straight, I guess I'd be on the Big Bend Trail, which is blazed blue. So that's the way I'm going. I'm walking through this area that was recently burned 2 weeks ago for a prescribed burn. And now it is like super hot and exposed. And it smells like charcoal and campfire and smoke. And it's pretty long so far. Hello, everybody. It is the evening of day 2. I am at Burrell's Ford campsite. I'm all set up and I am cooking dinner. I'm gonna have mushroom pot pie, which is my bulkiest, heaviest meal tonight, so that I can dump it in the garbage cans, which I don't know if you can see from here, but they're actually right back there. There's also a pit toilet here, yay! So no digging a cat hole tonight. All right, I'm gonna keep it 100% real with y'all. Today I was having it rough, really, really rough. That section from Lick Log campsite to Burrell's Ford, where I am now, that is a really tough section, and I was pretty surprised that nobody else's videos mentioned how tough that section is. And well, there's really a few factors, I guess Mother Nature wise, that made it tough for me today. Number one, there was that torrential downpour that I started the day with this morning, so I had to pack my tent up just soaking wet. So my tent must have weighed at least 2 pounds, because there was just no shaking it out. It was still raining when I packed it up and stuff like that. So, you know, it just is what it is, y'all. But the wind is really, really, really strong this evening, and I think it's blowing in a cold front, which has been great because I have dried out my tent completely, and I have my clothes over here drying on my clothesline. So that's going to be really nice to have dry clothes to put on tomorrow. And like I said, I am cooking dinner. I went down to the river here at Burrell Ford's campsite and got some water, so I'm going to filter my water. I have all my camp chores done really for the evening. I'm just going to take down my clothes before I go to bed, because it is supposed to be super windy tonight, and it's supposed to get down into the 30s, which is crazy because it was 85 today on the river. So let me talk about that part. FYI, pro tip, I would definitely recommend Sims Field campsite for your first night if possible, to push that far. It'd be about like 10.2 or something in from Oconee State Park. That was a beautiful campsite by the river. I wish that I had known about that campsite sooner. I mean, I knew it was there, but I didn't know how beautiful it was. So I would have, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I don't know if I could have pushed that far. I was pretty tired when I got to Lick Log last night, especially after doing the side trail to the falls and, you know, climbing down to try to find that campsite, only to have to climb all the way back out and then still hike to Lick Log campsite. I had that campsite all to myself last night, which was super nice. But anyway, once you pass Simsfield campsite, you walk along the Chattooga River for a really long time. And on far out, it looks very flat. So I was like, oh, I'm going to blow through these miles. That is not the case. I don't know why it says it's flat. It's constantly up and down, up and down, up and down, which is fine. But it's super technical up and down. And the steps up, I'm only 5'3", so the steps up were really, really tall for me. Like my knee was hitting my chest every single time I was trying to take one of those steps up. In addition to that tough section by the river, there are several rock scrambles. I think I took a picture of one today. It's so hard for the camera to do it justice, y'all, but it was rough. It was like straight up, and I had this heavy pack on my back, and you know, it was muddy and wet. The rocks were slippery from this morning's storm, so that was kind of tough. And then even after that, there were steps, like steps that the maintainers had created, and those steps were extremely tall for me. So that was tough. And it wasn't like, you know, I had to do those big step ups 20 or 30 times. It was like I had to do those big step ups like 100 times. Then after I had lunch and I showed you that little picnic spot, which was so nice, after I left that spot, it got even harder. Across the bridge, when you cross the bridge to go to the other side of the Chattooga River, and you continue following the river upstream, but on that side there was a prescribed burn 2 weeks ago, and so the whole, I think I took a clip of that, the whole right side of the trail was just burned. It was charred. And so because of that, it was super exposed and it was really hot. It was like 85 degrees. I got a little bit of a sunburn, as you can see, and I got sunburn on my arms as well. But it was just so exposed and so hot. And then you're continuing the undulation up and down, and sometimes you're going hundreds of feet up the riverbank and then coming hundreds of feet back down. And it was relentless, y'all. It was really, really hard. So I was very pleased with myself. I made it to the second Burrell's Ford entrance. There are two. I went ahead and pushed all the way to the second one because I didn't want to have to go back and continue from the first entrance tomorrow when I leave. So I did miss Kings Creek Falls, which I know is spectacular, and I'm really disappointed to have missed that. But by the time I got here, my body needed some serious attention, you guys. I came in, I have 3 blisters. I checked them out. They don't need tending to right now, but they may need tending to tomorrow. I think it's best if I just leave them intact right now. I also had a lot of chafing, and I have some really bad bruising on my left shoulder. I don't know what's going on, but I think I'm going to have to adjust my shoulder strap differently tomorrow because it really hurts quite a bit. So I used a lot of my Neosporin pain reliever. I rolled out my feet. I got my tent set up so that everything could dry out. My sleeping bag, my down sleeping bag, was a little bit wet from this morning. There was no condensation in my tent from last night. It was all from the rainstorm that blew through this morning. So my bag was wet. My tent was wet. All of that added extra weight to my pack. So I was having it rough today. So instead of Kings Creek Falls, I decided that I needed to self-love and self-care. So I rolled into camp and just really started tending to myself, and my body needed some attention. So I tended to that. I went and got water, like I said, down by the river. So I'm just waiting for my dinner to cook. I'm going to take my stuff off the clothesline, take the clothesline down, and I'm going to go to bed because Taz, my shuttle driver, told me that Oconee State Park to Burrell's Ford is the easy section of this trail, and that's probably true. But leaving here, I have like 1,000-foot climb over 4 miles or 3 miles or something like that. So that's going to be rough first thing in the morning. So I just need to make sure that I am super well rested and ready for that because I have 6 more days to go, everybody. So I hope I make it to the end of this trail. I'm sure it'll be fine, but I just really had a rough day today, and that's okay. Sometimes we have rough days on the trail, and what's really important is that you listen to your body and you self-love and self-care and do what you need to do to make sure that you're okay. And that's what I did today, and I feel a lot better. I feel relaxed. I'm gonna have my dinner in a few minutes when it's ready. I made some apple cider that I am going to enjoy. I really like those little apple cider packets. I'm gonna start bringing those more often. And finally, my food bag is down to a reasonable amount, even though I feel like that's very heavy for a day and a half of food. I'm gonna pick up my resupply, not tomorrow, but the next day. So my pack's gonna be heavy again, but whatever, it is what it is, right, everybody? The section today reminded me a lot, if you've ever done the Freeman Trail, which goes around the base of Blood Mountain, it follows this creek, and you're constantly, it's very technical, you're up and down and up and down and up and down and following this creek bed, and that was like today following the river. It was just extremely, extremely difficult. I fell, there were also from the burns, several blowdowns that were really sketchy to get around and took me quite a bit of time. There was one that I actually had to take my pack off for, crawl underneath, and then pull my pack through. That was really tough. There was another one where I had to go down the embankment quite a ways to get around it and then climb back up. And then on the way back up, I lost my footing and slipped and almost fell down the embankment into the river, which was, probably 50 feet below me. So that was not good. That made me feel a little scared. And then during one of the undulations, the rooty rocky section next to the Chattooga River, I rolled my ankle really badly, and that was the one that I had injured back in September that I have been, nursing back to health. So I was a little concerned about that. So I just sat on the trail for a few minutes and just kind of let my body reset. And as it turns out, it was fine. There is some bruising on my ankle now, but it's not bad. It's not going to keep me from continuing to hike. I'm just gonna baby it and take good care of it, y'all. So I'm just keeping it 100 with you. It's been rough, but I am doing it, and tomorrow is another day, so we'll see how tomorrow goes. I am going to sign off for now, and I will see you again tomorrow. Good night. All right, one more thing, y'all. So there's my tent. I followed this little path down here, and look, it's my own little water source just for my camp. And I didn't even know this was here, and I walked all the way down to the river. I'll let you know what campsite I'm at in just a minute. All right, this is campsite number 9, and it's right near the trash cans. The privy, or the pit toilet, is right there as well. Number 9. And I came in from up there and over there. FYI, there's toilet paper in the pit toilet. Nice. One more thing I wanted to note is that they're all full when you come here. Right behind the door of the pit toilet is another like hidden type campsite. I think that one says number 2. That's funny. Campsite number 2 is next to the privy, y'all. All right, but there's a tip for you in case you need one, and it's full. Like, I'm here on a Saturday, but I was lucky enough to get here early enough to get my own site. Okay, this is campsite number 9. There is a bear hanging pole, but there are no cables, so you have to throw your own line. But there's a bear box, a fire ring, a hook thing, which I use to dry out a bunch of my stuff, picnic table, and then there's plenty of flat space to camp. And your own little water trail right back there.